So now the Lord comes and prepares a table before Nino. He meaning the table he says, sit down and plant yourself in a spirit ministry. An example. I have prepared for you a table here. Your enemies are watching. They're watching you closely. They're laughing at you. You're never going to change. He's brainwashed. Fitting into that height. Man, what a dummy. Doesn't listen, man. One at a time. I give you 1 month. 1 month. He'll be back to his old ways. And they sit and they watch. But now this is the beauty. The Lord prepared the table before you in the presence of the enemy. But look at this. What they don't realize is this. And this is something that we have to understand. And we look at the lemon. Lemon. This is something that's sour. But yet, it's used to cleanse your liver. There are moments in a place where you're planted, where you're going to feel sour. Garlic. I believe this is the garlic, right? Yeah. Hey, I don't know. Garlic. Another thing. And ginger. Oh, yeah. Another thing that cleanses your liver. But not only that, it's antibiotics. Doesn't taste great, but it's needed. It's for you, for your health. The savor tastes bitter. We have carrots. Cleanses you. May not taste the greatest. Maybe it may taste blah.
Spiritual eyesight.
We have banana. Boosts your energy, your moments of weakness. You have the place where you can see, where you'll be able to receive that energy you need in the moments when you feel weak and tired. We got strawberries. When you start to age properly. Meaning, as you're aging, as you're maturing, you're aging, you're looking more and more like Christ. Strawberries. Apples helps fight infections. Onions will make you cry. All this is happening in the place where the Lord has planted you. Grapes helps your blood vessels, relaxes them, so like that things could flow more easily through you. So now we look at all this. Matter of fact, we got salad, which many people don't like to eat. But yet this helps strengthens your bones. So now the table the Lord prepares for you in the presence of your enemy. They say, man, moments of sorrow, crying, bitterness. I don't know. It doesn't. It's very colorful, but it really doesn't look that well. It doesn't really catch my attention. But then you got the enemy over here. Prepare this table for you. I'm eating this donut. Now you got your donut. You got your donut, right? You got your chips, your candies, your crackers. All these things that taste great. But yet, the reality is it leads to your destruction. You see, so now, your enemy wants you to go and enjoy that. Because this right here seems more pleasing to the eye. This right here seems more enjoyable. But the reality is that all this is just temporary joy and temporary pleasing. But the reality is that it will only lead to your destruction. It tastes good. It makes you feel good. It brings a smile in you. But yet it leads to your destruction. Yet, what don't realize is that in the midst of your tears, in the midst of your bitterness, in the midst of your sorrow, in the midst of everything that seems uncomfortable and unpleasing, what's happening is the Lord is forming you. He's giving you the nutrition. He's forming you and allowing you to be transformed according to Him. So while your enemies are watching, and at moments when they see I'm not really enjoying this, that looks better over there, but I'm trusting the Lord. I'm trusting everything He's put in front of me. So okay, Lord, I'm trusting you. I'm taking this. Whatever you give, I take. I feed myself. Now, He's feeding you these things. And your enemies are watching. Even people will come in your ears and say, "You sure that's what the Lord wants you? Maybe that's not where He wants you. Maybe you should go over there because it seems more pleasing." Why are you going to deal with all that? Why are you going to put yourself through all that stuff? Is it really worth it? You could really go somewhere else and really enjoy over there and not have to deal with that nonsense. But the Lord has prepared the table before you. And the important is that as the Lord is feeding you, the important is that you have to stay focused in the Lord. Don't focus on the enemies. Don't focus on the voices. Don't focus on anybody. But stay focused on the table He has planted for you and the food He is feeding you. So now what happens is, as the Lord is feeding you, your enemies are watching. And as your enemies are coming and trying to enjoy this, you notice they're aging. You notice they start to become obese. You start to notice they start to have problems in life. Health problems, all types of stuff. So now we look at this in a spiritual form. Now you start knowing people. They start to seem like they start to fall into depression, anxiety, homosexuality, all types of stuff. Because why? Because they chose to eat at another table that was never destined for them to eat. Because the enemy painted the picture and made it seem like it was enjoyable. Because the reality is, it looks enjoyable. And the reality, it does taste good. But the thing was, it leads to destruction. So now, you got people enjoying this. Nino! Yo! This donut. Want some? Tastes good. It's enjoyable. So now, they're over here eating their donut, laughing, enjoying. How you missing out? And you're over there eating a salad. Doesn't taste that well. And at moments, you may glance over and laugh. Is it really worth it? And that donut really does look good. But yet, you're becoming more and more unhealthy. And anything unhealthy leads to destruction eventually. Now the Lord is feeding you for everything you do. Even though it tastes well, even though it may not be enjoyable. But the beauty is this, that as they think that they're laughing, they're leading into destruction. And they're dealing with all these things. Next thing you know, you start to become stronger in the Lord because of what He's feeding you. Next thing you know, you could have been dealing with depression, but because you allow the Lord to feed you and to mold you and to equip you, next thing you know, you start to realize that no longer you're dealing with those depressions, because the Bible says that those that know God, those that are in the presence of God, are truly set free. Okay. So now, And as the Lord is feeding you, He's causing you to detox all those junks that you've been feeding yourself for all those years. And He's replacing it with the nutrition you need. Everything you need, because He needs you to be like Him. He needs you to look like Him. He needs you to be the light who He called you to be. Now your enemies are watching and they're saying, man, this Nino he's wasting his time. But yet, they fall more and more in bondage. They start to get locked up. They start to go more and having marital problems, breakups, all types of stuff. Yet Nino's over here hanging on to the Lord, staying focused on the Lord. And he's continuing to allow the Lord to feed him the things that the Lord has destined to be fed for him, because he's trusting in Him. And now the more Nino allows the Lord to work in him and allows the Lord to feed him the nutrition he needs, what happens is Nino starts to look more and more like Christ. And now eventually those that were laughing, those that were looking at him saying, but it's just a matter of time, now they start to sit and say, but hold up, what's going on here? I'm stressed out. My home is breaking. But yet, there's something different about it. Why is it in the midst of the storms, He smiles? Why is it that in the midst of the storm, He just walks with no worry? Because now what's happening is He's becoming more like Christ. And the Bible says that there was a moment when the Lord was walking on water in the midst of storms. And you will read clearly and said that Lord was walking, but yet there was no worries in Him. The storm was around Him. But yet now there was a Peter that had caught His attention. And Peter looks and says, yo, the Lord is walking on water and the storm is all around. That's what happens with your enemies, those that have been watching you, saying, doubting that you will never be able to be who God called you to be. So now they see you from the boat and they see the storm around you. They're scared because they're sinking in the storm and they're going to drown in the storm. But yet they see Nino walking on water in the midst of the storm, not being fazed by what's around him, not being fazed by his circumstances. Why? Because his character has become like Christ. And when his character becomes like Christ, there's nothing impossible for you. There's no storm that can stop you. Matter of fact, the storm has to bow down to you because you are the one who got called to be. Matter of fact, let's put it like this. The Bible says that no longer I live, but He lives in me. So now, Christ. So now, Nino's walking on the shore, but it's no longer Nino walking the shore, it's Christ, because no longer Nino lives, but it's Christ who lives in him. So now him and Christ are in sync. So no longer the old Nino exists, but now it's the new Nino, the Nino that God had called them to be, which is be in sync with Christ, to be one with Christ. But in order for Nino to be able to get there, Nino must be able to understand that you must stay focused on the Lord. You must stay focused on the table that the Lord prepared for you. And allow the Lord to feed you the things that are destined for you to lead to your life-changing moment. It may not feel good. It may not taste well. It may not look too pleasing. But in the end result, while those that have been enjoying the fun stuff, the feasts, the things, they end up perishing. Yet Nino enters into everlasting life with the Lord.